Welcome back. How's it going, everyone? It's been a while since I've done any of this, but I guess I'm back. I guess I'm back. And man, I guess I want to start from the beginning. I think I have some explaining to do. I mean, I guess I'll start in the beginning. Why I started this whole thing in the first place. Corner of Creation was a dream I had to help inspire young people to change the world around them. And I guess even further back than that, when I was 17, I gave my life to Christ over again. I had this feeling in my heart, and one of the first chapters in the Bible that I read all the way through from beginning to end, and just read it over and over again was John chapter 4, was of the woman at the well, and how this woman ministered in her own village, in her own town where she lived, after her encounter with Christ. And it wasn't until I was in college is when I made the connection, because what was really amazing was I found out in Acts there was an apostle who traveled to likely the same village that she lived in. And he traveled there in Acts because he was about to baptize a bunch of believers. Because when you put two and two together, this woman who decided to minister in her own town was creating something that was so impactful that it made believers where she was. And then someone else came and basically reaped the fruit of her labor. And a lot of believers came out of that town. I was drawn to that story when I was a kid because I thought that was amazing. And something about helping my own neighborhood, helping my own little city moved me. And I had dreams of becoming a pastor when I entered into college. Fast forward, I made my way into college. I changed my major from English education, secondary ed, to theology at Andrews University. Shout out Andrews, my alma mater. And I made my way there, and I had these dreams of coming back and ministering, and I wasn't sure what that would look like. But I knew that I was called back home. And the reason why I knew I was called back home is every time I would go do missions, because in my denomination, for those who didn't grow up in the Adventist world, the idea of mission work is really pushed. It's pushed. And in my university, being a student missionary was really important. And so when I would apply to student missions, and every single year, every single time I applied, it was either too late, I missed a deadline, or my application had gotten lost, or things happened where I wasn't able to go on those missions. And I found my way back into that story when I read when I was 17 about the woman at the well, only to come to find out all that story was a call maybe to me to do missional work in my own village, in my own town. And fast forward, after college, figuring out where I was going to be a pastor at, I got this job in the next town over from me. I lived in a place called Naperville, and I got a job at a church called Bolingbrook Church, where an explosion of growth was happening, and I found myself just kind of this average student, average theologian, finding myself in one of the fastest growing churches in the North American division, which was beyond me. And I had no idea, and I was under the tutelage, the ministry leadership of Jose St. Fard. Shout out my old senior pastor. So I guess being in that space really pushed me to want to, I guess, perform and do good and make things look spectacular. And so that's exactly what I did. I learned, I adapted, and I figured it out. And that's how I grew up. I grew up in an environment where I was told to figure things out. I was told to make things happen. I told myself to do that. My mother told me to do that. My father told me to do that. I grew up with parents that raised me to learn to be independent early on. And so, fast forward to 2020, I'm hitting the ground running. I really excited for the new year, and then Corona happened, and I looked back at the old calling of me to minister into my own community. And so I was thinking about what that looks like. I was trying to put flesh on that vision. I came up with the corner of creation, and the reason why is because I believe that every young person, and I have a heart for young people. I really do. I believe that they're not just our future; they're our right now. And if they don't know how to be encouraged to change the communities right now, I think we're doing them a disfavor. And so I started this in hopes that I would encourage not just young people, I guess, but I guess people in general to take care of their own corner. I had this vision of if everyone took care of their own sphere of influence, of their own communities, and if everyone did that and we didn't worry about someone else's community, if we trusted that other people were taking care of their community and their corner, and we were focused on our corner, then we would have a bunch of different corners of creation where people would be making things better, spreading the gospel where you are, making the lives around you better because you are helping spread this gospel message. And not just the theological understanding of the gospel, but living the gospel out in your community. And so I started Corner of Creation, and the first episode was fixing your bed, and that was kind of the start of Corner of Creation. Was, hey, this is what it looks like to start fixing your corner. And then I got scared. I got super scared. The rush of having to do ministry and feeling like this was also another thing that I was trying to keep up with, and with between helping the youth out during our Friday nights and also editing videos for the church, editing the worship videos for the church, doing the food pantry stuff, weekly meetings with my pastor colleagues from the conference that I work in. But yeah, I got scared. I got nervous. The thought of learning to figure out ministry all over again scares me. It scared me. More than it ever has been before. And I think, part of my personality, I'm a big extrovert, and not being around people really paid a toll on me. I think it paid a bigger toll than I thought it would. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was scared because the first video I got a lot of comments, a lot of text messages from my friends like, "Yo, David, you need to keep doing this. You need to keep doing this." That was a blessing. And I was like, yeah, I hear that, and I keep hearing all this positive stuff, like you need to keep going. And then I got scared out of my mind. For whatever reason, I got nervous to make the next one. I told myself I didn't have time. I got scared. I'm not sure if you guys have felt this way. When you start something new, you get scared, and you start early and you stop early. You fail early. And it's been since April since I've put out that first video, and here I am 2021 in February making a new one because I was scared. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of not being able to come up with things that were useful. I was scared of a lot of things, and I think some of you, if not all of you, probably have felt the same way, where you're just scared of starting a new thing. You're scared of trying to figure out how to do things differently. But I think there's encouragement, because I find myself facing an unknown future, facing an unknown a lot of things, and here I am find myself in Joshua chapter 1. And for those who don't know what Joshua chapter 1 is about, Moses has been leading the Israelites this whole time, and he passes away, and he's super old when he passes away, like over 100 years old. And Joshua, he started following Moses as like a protege, as a apprentice, as a Padawan for my Star Wars people. He started off young. At 19, he followed Moses. And after Moses has died, Joshua is now in charge of leading these people. And I'm almost positive this guy is scared out of his wits, right? He's about 59-ish at this time. And Joshua chapter 1 says, "At the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land that I'm about to give them," into the land that he promised them. This was the promised land. "To the Israelites, and I will give you every place where you set your foot, I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the great river of the Euphrates to the Hittite country, to the great sea on the west." So right now, God is giving Joshua this vision of a great future, enlarging his corner to a much bigger corner. And it's crazy because I felt that God was calling me to that idea, but I was scared of the vastness that he's calling me to. I'm terrified of it. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I can carry that weight. I don't know if I can keep up with the demand. But this is what it says. Verse 5, "No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you." So God tells Joshua, "I'm going to give you this massive land, this huge land. And it's going to be bigger than you ever could imagine." But he never told Joshua to do it. We might make that mistake in thinking that's the case, but he says, "Go, I'm gonna give you the land, and I will be with you. I will never leave you or forsake you." And then he says, "Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people." And we think that it's Joshua leading, but instead, it's Joshua letting God lead through him. And I think that's why I was afraid, is because all of last year, doing all the ministry things I was doing, I tried to figure things out, like I always have been. I tried to figure this thing out. I tried to figure this corner of creation thing out. And I forgot the biggest thing about this story was not that Joshua was a great leader or Moses was a great leader, but they allowed God to lead. And so here I am, starting over. Well, kind of starting over, starting again. And I think that's the beauty of the grace of God, is that you can start again. No matter how afraid you were, no matter how worried you were about the future, God can say, "I'm not only calling you to what I've been calling you to, but I can call you to start over again if you need to." So here I am, taking control of what the only thing I can't control is allowing God back in the picture, allowing God back into the procedure, and allowing God back into my corner. And am I afraid? Maybe. Am I hopeful? More so. Because the moment I start allowing God back into my corner, things change. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for something to change. And that's it. So my hope and challenge to all of you is that you let God back into your corner, wherever you are, whatever corner that looks like, whatever corner you're in right now, let God back into it. Because that corner could be filled with fear, grief, pain, anxiety, failure. But the moment God pushes through that corner becomes more of him and less of you. And I think that's what corners are supposed to be. That's what our community should be more of. More of God and less of me. Welcome back to the podcast.